all been watching, or a lot of us been watching the Diddy trial. And I wanted to talk a little bit about the fact that we have to use discernment. I feel like that's one of the things that we can get from this trial is that we have to use discernment. What does that mean? A lot of times we have to see, like, with our spiritual eyes and ears. We have to see and hear what maybe it's not being, maybe what you can't see, but it's almost like you have to see beyond what you can see. In other words, we have to stay sober. I'm married, but for the single people out there, okay? If you're starting to date somebody and they promise you the world, I mean, honestly, it's like a job. I think I saw a job, was it today or yesterday? They offer you, they send me a text and they're scammers. And they offer you, I mean, oh, to get paid all this money, a whole lot of money, and you don't hardly have to work, and blah, blah, blah. And it's a scam. You know, next thing you know, they'll be asking me for my debit card number, and after that, they take my money. It's a scam, you know, but that's not gonna happen. It's a scam. And so we have to be careful. And I shouldn't have to go through the whole thing to realize it's a scam. I see that it's too good to be true. It is. I don't want it, you know, and we have to do that with relationships as well. You know, if it sounds too good to be true, the guy is offering you everything you ever wanted. You have to be careful because at first it's always going to look good, you know, but you have to stay sober. You can't be in cloud nine from day one, you know, because you cannot ignore the red flags. You cannot. I mean, a lot of these women testify that they got dragged, beat, you know, and they didn't get dragged and beat on the first day. So you have to look at that and stay sober. And I get it. I get it when it's like, and I've done it myself in the past. It's like you have this whole fantasy world in your mind. Like, oh, this is my relationship. This is what I've been wanting. Oh, this is so wonderful. And then when the red flags, hi Paige, when the red flags start coming out, you don't want to see it because you're stuck in the fantasy phase. And that's why it's so important to stay sober. So when the red flags do come out, then you realize, you know, is this something I can deal with or not? Hi, Carlos. Is there something I could deal with or not? You know, but you got to use discernment because nobody, well, most people don't start, they don't show you the worst part of themselves at the beginning, you know? So you have to look at different little things, you know, like if a man hits his mother, I mean, if a man hits his mother, you really gotta, what are the chances he's gonna hit you? You know, so you have to pay attention to different things. And men with women as well, you know. And we have to pay attention to these things. We just can't be like, and I know because I've been there, it's like you just make up a story in your mind, you know, happily ever after. You make it up in your mind. And when it starts going differently, you just kind of ignore it for a while. But it's when it's a bad relationship like that, it's just a matter of time before it blows over. Just a matter of time, you know. And I think with this case, it's just a lot of lessons that we can learn. A lot of lessons to learn. And, you know, if you're in a bad relationship, learn when to walk away. Get strong and walk away. I actually did a devotional for women who are in the midst of domestic violence. If anybody wants it, I'll send it to you for free. I was there a long time ago, and I just want to help anybody that's in it, help them to get out, you know, help them to get strength and get out. And then the shame that comes with it, I mean, it's a lot of things. I used to stick it out because of my kids, too. Like, oh, my kids, I want the kids to have a father, you know. But, but it was very toxic. And it was not a person I was supposed to be with. Sometimes we work so hard at being with somebody that we're not even supposed to be with, you know? I was with my ex for 17 years, and I tell you what, this whole Diddy thing is it was triggering me a lot during the Cassie. Oh gosh, I really, that's when I did the devotional for people with domestic violence because I was getting triggered. I was getting triggered and remembering stuff that I had forgotten a long time ago. But after that situation was over, I stayed by myself for 7 years and really worked on my healing intentionally, you know. Let God heal me and went through the process, and it took a while. Now I'm married to this awesome man, you know. I think God was a great father and the complete opposite of being abusive, you know what I mean? But it was like I needed to let God do that. Sometimes we pick somebody. I mean, my ex husband looked like Diddy. You know, he was charismatic. You know, similar age, all of that stuff. And I remember thinking, oh, he's so cute. He's so funny. He can dance. Like, what does that even mean? What does that even matter? That's why I said we have to be sober. We have to be sober. We have to look at, you know, is he working? Is he responsible? You know, is he a good person? Or does he have anger issues? You know, and I worked as a social worker for a long time. And I just like sometimes you have to be careful because if you like to take care of people, you will end up with somebody that you are taking care of. And then I had to come to a realization of like, okay, I like to take care of people, but I'm not gonna pick a spouse that's gonna be like my client. You know what I mean? Yeah, like my ex-husband, he owes me like millions of dollars worth of therapy. Now I'm just kidding. But but on a serious note, yeah, I think it happens more than we like to talk about, you know, and I think that there's a lot of good lessons to talk about, to learn from this case, you know, and discernment is one. You know, most guys or girls, you know, oh gosh, uh, you know, they're gonna show you the best site first. I gotta change my YouTube algorithm because I was watching some like mysteries and like this person killed that person and Lord have mercy. Next thing you know, that's all that's showing on my YouTube. Diddy and people keep, you know, people killing each other. I'm like, oh, like in relationships, you know. I'm like, I do not want to see that. I gotta start putting not interested, not interested, not interested. I don't want to see a whole bunch of killing. I do not. But you know, I was like, wow, that does happen a lot. And people a lot of times think that it's not gonna happen to them. I guess I probably need to do a video on that because it was a young lady that I don't know if you guys seen that the boyfriend killed her and then he killed himself. It was like, oh gosh, yeah, so sad. And it's I'll do a video about that another time. A lot of times people don't think it's gonna happen to them. They don't think it's gonna happen to them. I mean, thank God Cassie's okay, but she could have been killed. The 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 person that got hung over the balcony, she could have died. She could have fell. You know, and all these people using drugs at the same time, like, oh my gosh, it's a miracle. The Molotov cocktail in the car, that could have caused an explosion. Like it's no nothing but God that a lot of people did not, a lot more people did not get killed. You know, and slamming a woman, hitting a woman, like, and I see pictures of Cassie. She's so skinny and tiny, you know. Thank God that, you know, she didn't die. Because like that girl that I seen on YouTube, I can't remember her name. They call it Duchess of Dior. I don't know if you guys saw it. I thought her boyfriend had stabbed her, but he just punched her. He punched her. She went unconscious and he left. And then they found her like an hour and a half later, and they think they rushed her to the hospital. She was dead, but she died from punches. So can you imagine? Cassie could have been dead. Some of these other girls could have been dead. You know, all these people. Some more people could have been dead. And I'm not gonna say conspiracy theories about other people that they believe that, you know. that are gone. But we have to use discernment. We have to use discernment. And I think for this case, it was the guy's money, you know. It was the guy's money. And oh my gosh, I keep hearing people say, he was bigger than life. He was bigger than life. Nobody's bigger than life. Okay? Nobody's bigger than life. And because of the money, oh my gosh. Like, it's just amazing. The Bible says the love of money is the root of all evil. Not money, but the love of it. And how they would, how Jane was like, well, $10,000 for her house. I, yeah, that's, I don't know, that part, like, honestly, of course, we're like Monday night quarterbacking, right? We're like discussing it after the fact, but I mean, I was there. I was a single mom with 3 kids. You just can't do that, you know. Yeah, you're gonna have some guy be like, hey, yeah, I'll take care of you, blah, blah, blah. You gotta be able to see through that. You're gonna have discernment. You gotta be able to see it that, okay, that guy's not good for me. He's not good for my child. He could have bought her a house if that was the case, but at what price? My God, at what price? Like that was just horrible, you know? And people try to play it off like, oh no, it was fun. Oh yeah, yeah, it was so much fun. No, yeah, yeah, yeah. At the beginning text, oh yeah, yeah, it was so much fun. But what did the end text look like? What did they look like? They weren't talking about how much fun it was. No, they were talking. They felt dirty. It was disgusting. They had infections. They were in pain. They had to hold the same pulse, the same position for hours. They say all that. Yet they felt horrible. They felt horrible. And then for what? For $10,000 a month for something that's not even yours because it was rent. It's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. And now I saw Jane where she was testifying against him, but she was trying not to testify against him, and she was like, I didn't know I was testifying against him, and he's still paying her rent and paying for her lawyer. And boy, the way they brought out those texts with her today, they try to destroy her today. I was like, she was being so careful, and they try to destroy her. Her reputation is in the tank, and she got a child. Her family has to deal with that. And her reputation, Lord have mercy, help her. Because those texts that came out today, her saying she wanted it, and her contacting, other mixed workers and stuff like that. Like, I mean, I get it that was maybe at the beginning and that at the end it was different, but I guess they can prove that better with Cassie than with her. But they try to destroy her today. So this is why we have to use discernment. She was trying to walk a fine line and hugging them afterwards and all this extraness. And they try to destroy her today. They try to destroy her. Throat's dry, I don't know why. But anyway, that's what I was thinking about. I just wanted to talk about, for us to think about some of the lessons that could be learned. This is a good time that we could talk about certain things. Excuse me, sometimes it's taboo. And see, he had that circle of friends around him. Excuse me. And whenever Cassie went to one of his friends, that his friends became her friends. They didn't give her good advice. They didn't give her good advice. So you have to have discernment. You have to be careful. Who's around you? Are they really for you? Are they for the other person? Have somebody that really has your back. Have somebody that can really give you good advice. I know for me was, well, I had a lot of good people around me that gave me good advice. My first marriage, I didn't listen for a while, but I tell you what, when I learned my lesson, I remembered everything they said. And one of those people was my grandmother, may she rest in peace, in Puerto Rico, Natalia. She used to give me advice all the time, and I would not listen. And she used to say, girl, I'm just gonna pray for you. Nena, voy a orar por ti. I'm just gonna pray for you, mija. And I remember when I understood, I just one day it was like, bam, I understood what she was talking about. I understood. And at that point, really was at the end of my marriage. I say, well, if I ever get married again, I know how to do it. I will do it right. And that's what I did. You know, waited 7 years and then God brought me my husband. You know, he's not perfect. I'm not perfect, but it's not toxic. It's godly. I have peace in my house. It's night and day, you know. And I just stopped lowering my standards. And I was by myself for 7 years. And people were like, oh, you're not gonna find nobody, da da da, nobody gonna meet your standards, da da da. And not true. I did find somebody. We found each other. And he was actually impressed by my standard. He wasn't turned off by my standards. He was impressed. So, you know, yeah, I just wanted to say we just gotta have discernment. Don't be so quick to rush into a relationship, you know. And when you're in it and you start seeing a lot of stuff, it's okay. You know, it's okay to leave if it's, you know, your life is in danger. I mean, this thing with the blackmail and all of that stuff, like, and the physical abuse, you know, yeah, it's like, okay, yeah, it's, you know, with the help of God, you get a good community around you and then you leave. But if we are sober and we use discernment, then hopefully it doesn't even get to that point. We can see all the flags before we get to that point. And that's a good lesson to learn. I mean, that's all I wanted to say. Hey, hi y'all. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Just say, let's look at this as a good lesson to learn. Let's use discernment. Amen. Have a good night. Bye, y'all.